How's it going, everyone? Tim here, Tier D Adventures. Hope everyone's all well out there. As always, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. So, we have picked up the new SCX 10.3 Basecamp RTR. And we went ahead and just went with the gray for now. Like, if I had to pick a stock body color, the gray, I think is the preferred choice for me there. As soon as I saw the full release and, a lot of the details, I was very excited for this style of release. It's something that I've been looking forward to and hoping could come from the 10.3 platform. Now, excited for several reasons. One, other than just the fact that this was the first Axial RTR that I've pulled out of the box in quite some time that did not have 4 little stains underneath the axle where the shocks were already leaking. No oil stains in this box, and I was very excited to see that for the first time in a long time. So already starting on a great note. Now, I don't need to do a complete unboxing and every little stock detail. There are plenty of videos going over a full breakdown of everything. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get the battery in it. We're going to go take it out and, as it sets, a complete stock platform. No changes, electronics, tires, even the radio, which is something that I do not do very often at all. Normally, I at least change something, wheels and tires, or at least a steering servo before I take a new RTR out. This one, we're going to go at it, and we're going to take this out, and we're going to get a base level for the Basecamp. Then, bring it back. I want to go over some of my overall thoughts after taking out and a lot of things I do like and why I think this is a great release from Axial. And then over the next couple episodes, we're going to go over some modifications, some basic ones that I recommend with 10.3s, and then what I do. Now, you're not going to need to go overboard like I'm about to, but it'll be fun to tag along for the ride and see how it all comes. So let's go take this out and get some money. Took it out, put it through some paces, we put some scratches on it, had an overall great time. I enjoyed that a lot. It's been quite a bit since I just truly just took a box stock RTR out and just took it out and put it through some paces, and overall had a great time again. So definitely good to see, have like, a baseline, where the truck's at before everything starts, and then we'll go through, do some modifications and see how stuff progresses throughout the build. Again, I was excited for this release for a couple reasons. Now, first off, the platform, its overall price point, everything, I think is a great, starter truck as well for someone getting into the hobby or just looking to pick up another rig or just something, a stock truck that they can trail with. This kind of hits it dead on the money in my opinion. As far as price point, I mean, this is the cheapest of the 10.3's RTR. The kit itself is still cheaper, but as far as RTR, this one is significantly better price points compared to the other RTRs. So for someone getting new to it, I think this is a very good target to start at. And the 10.3 platform as itself overall has plenty of aftermarket support through a variety of brands across the board. Everything, axles, bearings, wheels, tires, shock towers, the whole nine. There's plenty of aftermarket support. So you're not going to have to worry about getting in a truck and then like, oh no, can I get parts if something breaks? Yep, you will. There's plenty of support out there. In case something does go wrong, don't have to worry about that. You will be able to replace anything on here or upgrade it if you choose to. Now, another reason I like this kit is with the other 10.3s I've done the kits, I've done a couple of the RTRs and the Gladiator, and they were always made really good trail trucks. But for someone like me that does like to modify and kind of make things my own, their price point with their licensed bodies, unless you are a true Jeep fan or early Bronco fan, sometimes it sucks to pay that extra with that price tag for a body that you don't really like and are probably not going to use long or switch out. So, you're taking, $100 worth of licensed body and setting it to the side versus a much cheaper generic body. You're not going to feel bad. I'm not going to feel bad when this goes right off to the side and it never sees the light of day again. So that's a plus. I would have preferred, and a lot of people would have and would still like to see, a true raw builder's kit 10.3. But until one of those comes out, this to me is the next best thing. It's basic, and there are some very tasteful upgrades to this versus the other 10.3 RTRs. The biggest change is the transmission, and it is my favorite change. I personally have not been a fan of the stock 10.3 transmission. It's a little sloppy, and it always seems to have just some noise. It is a very loud drivetrain. The 2-speed wasn't that noticeable. There wasn't a big difference between first and second, so you're just like, okay. Now the dig feature, a pretty cool feature to have on a truck. And once you upgrade it, once you got a decent servo in there and was able to set your endpoints, the dig feature worked great. Never had any issues with the dig setup in that stock trans. But as far as the overall trans, I would have sacrificed the dig for other upgrades. And I like this. Nice, simple, almost back to almost a 3-year style transmission, but with a 5-year. So super excited for that, and still leaves plenty of room, and everything's still nice and down low there and frees up quite a bit of weight. Next up here, big upgrade is the Panhard Mount on the chassis. It is now metal, which is very awesome because that was a weak point on the chassis, was that Panhard Mount. They would often break, so you would have to either upgrade the Panhard Mount to an alloy or upgrade the shock towers with the Panhard Mount built in. So that part there, RB metal, is a huge plus, one less weak point on the chassis. Next up, the shocks. I mentioned earlier in the video, it was nice to pull an Axial RTR out of the box and not see any oil spots in the bottom of it where the shocks were. So that was plus. And, just feeling them on the bench and then taking out, I feel like, I don't know what all they changed inside, or I just got a very good combination of everything with these shocks, like everything was just matched right. These feel immensely better than the previous 10.3 shocks. Now they do have the aluminum cap there and everything there looks good. So I don't hate the shocks. I still think they're a little long. I prefer a little bit of a shorter shock for portals, but I don't hate them, and we're going to work with them. Now the links, again, they're still metal, but they are significantly smaller diameter than the other 10.3s. So that's something, I don't know if that's a win or a loss. They're still metal, so they're still strong, better than plastic, yet they're thinner, so save some weight. So I think it's a toss-up. I will probably address that later on down the road, but in the meantime, they will work. Tires, now as far as scale look, the wheels and the tire combination look great. As far as looks and everything, they're good. They're still, RTR tires, so they are a harder compound. And you can see in some of that video, there was some spinning, there was quite a bit of hopping. So softer tire, we'll address that in the next video and we'll go from there. But I mean, if you were looking for something scale and just trailing, the tire is going to do fine. If you're looking to do more technical crawling, that is something you'll have to address. Next up, bumpers. Now the front bumper actually it hung up a lot less than I thought it was going to, and what I've seen in some other videos. There were, a couple times some really tight turns. Yes, it would catch here, but overall, I did not hate the front bumper. I kind of like it, and the styling looked really good. And the same with the rear bumper. The rear bumper does have some nice angle here. The only thing, I had it a couple times in the video where I would come down off an obstacle just right, or a sharper rock, and it would hit right here in this gap. So other than a few of those instances where obstacles or rocks and terrain can get right there, other than that, it did really good. I mean, especially right here, how it's angled right back there, that was really nice when you're coming down, and then you can just slide there. So that worked out really well. Again, overall, I'm still very excited about this. I think the changes were spot on compared to the other 10.3 models out of the box as far as performance. This one right here is a clear winner. Definitely more capable. And there are reasons, a variety of reasons, that does make this a more capable RTR compared to the rest of them. And a big part of that is the body. And then, these subtle changes there, the shock changes, the transmission changes, maybe even the tires. So overall, performance-wise, I'm liking this one a lot. And comparing to other RTRs, I'd say probably still my favorite out of the box RTR as far as performance is one of the Enduro Senderos, rather be the HD or the original Sendero. Those are still, in my opinion, currently the best out of the box as far as performance. This right here is not too far behind it, and a few tasteful mods right here, it's going to be in the same park and then some. And of course, you do always have the TRX4 Sport, which is always a good capable start as well. And honestly, I think this one is going to give it the edge. There's just a few things that this does win over the TRX4. The TRX4 Sport has the better RTR tires, but other things complement this truck better. The steering radius with the AR45 portals and the clearance here is better than the TRX4 portals. And I'm going to give it electronics. I mean, both servos, stock sport servo and this servo, both the servos are at best. But as far as their other electronics, this Spectrum combo here and this motor, I think definitely feel better smooth and controlled than the stock Traxxas electronics. One more thing that's, for me, that always puts the Element in the better of the RTR. The Element has the best set of electronics to complement its performance. Even the stock Reedy servo that comes with Elements is a pretty decent servo, and it may not be the strongest or fastest, but it survives the longest. And they have the better Reedy motor and a better Reedy ESC to complement it. So those electronics also combo in with why I think an Element is one of my favorite and best performing RTRs. But in the meantime, there we are. We now have a baseline for the base camp. So let the mods begin. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and continue to follow along here as we transform the 10.3 base camp. So until next time, everyone, have a great one and crawl on.